beautiful people. Thank you so much for tuning in, watching, and listening. This is going to be the September 2022 reading for the zodiac sign of Cancer. As always, my readings are very intuitive, so I'll provide you with any intuitive messages that I receive, as well as the meaning of the tarot card. I do, however, recommend you check out your sun, moon, and rising just to get a full picture of everything that's going on for you this month. And if you haven't done so already, please do subscribe to my YouTube channel. When you subscribe, that helps me greatly, and you'll be notified when I post new content. But with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. In column number 1, we're going to take a look at what's wrapping up and coming to a close, so last few weeks or month. Column number 2, we're going to take a general look at September. We're also going to do a money column, a love column, and the 5th and final column, we're going to do a message from our future self or spirit guides. We're going to do a crystal of the month, 3 yes or no questions, and a healing note as well at the end. But let's see here, Cancer, let's jump in and get started. Column number 1 again is what's wrapping up and coming to a close. We have the card Fortitude. This is about overcoming obstacles, overcoming challenges, overcoming annoyances. And it's like about keeping small things small, or almost like sometimes downplaying things. Like you just have to keep pushing forward and not get frustrated or overwhelmed or stuck by any one event that happens. With this being past tense, I would say, Cancer, you did a really good job of doing that the last few weeks. But let's see what messages are coming through here. Okay, the first card that we have is the Lover's card. The Lover's card is a card of love. It's a card of partnership, deep love, it's strength together. Some of you could have just entered into a relationship, and this relationship feels like it's pretty strong. Some of you could also be in an existing relationship. This is a great card for you as well. This is sincere, deep love. This can also indicate a decision that happened recently. Anytime we have 2 of something on a card, it does indicate a decision. So the Lover's card could be referring to a decision that you had to make the last few weeks or month as well. The next card that we have is the Ten of Pentacles. This is a card of leaving a legacy. This is very long-term energy. It's followed by the Emperor, which is also a very long-term card. But this is like retirement, inheritance, large sums of money, or just working towards the future. I feel like a lot of you have been future focused these last few weeks, which is nice to see. The Emperor is going to echo that message. This is a card of strategic planning. It's forward thinking. It's future focused. So it's like you're plotting for the future, Cancer. That's what I'm seeing you do the last few weeks. Let's see what clarifying messages we've got going on here. The first clarifier we have is the Seven of Cups. The Seven of Cups is a card of having lots of different choices or lots of different options. So this is kind of echoing what I did say with the Lover's card. There could have been a decision that needed to be made. And when we have a lot of options, it can be really challenging to make a decision. Like I said, if you look at this card, there's something different in each cup. The other part of the Seven of Cups is sometimes it's very non-committal energy, and it's non-committal again because we have so many options. So it's good to see that a decision was made, even though there was a lot of noise and potentially it wasn't something you were wanting to fully commit to because you'd had so many options. We have the Emperor coming up again, which we just talked about the Emperor. This is again long-term. We're setting ourselves up long-term. Not sure exactly what action or decision was made, but it feels like it was the right move long-term for you, Cancer. And at the bottom here, we have the Eight of Swords. The Eight of Swords is a card of self-imposed restrictions. If you look at this card, the person is blindfolded, their arms are bound down, but there are so many swords stuck in the ground, so this person can very easily wiggle themselves back and cut themselves free. And I do feel like this was you making the decision. You were potentially feeling non-committal or limiting yourself from making this decision, but you made a good decision long term. It was strategic, it was thoughtful, and it looks like it was the right move for you. Now, Cancer, let's take a look at our next column, which is just general, what's coming for September. We have the card Moderation. I love the card Moderation. I feel like life in moderation is good. Eating junk food in moderation, drinking in moderation, going out and spending time with your friends in moderation, working out, exercising, all things in moderation, sleeping in moderation, don't oversleep, don't undersleep. Moderation is like that key to life. It's that fine balance. So do keep moderation top of mind as we go into the month of September. But let's see what messages we've got here. The first card that we have is the King of Swords. The King of Swords is, again, very intentional, very long-term. It feels like you're still planning here. Some of you could be budgeting or saving money in moderation. Again, the energy of being very forward-focused and planning and plotting is carrying forward into the month of September. The other thing I like to point out with the King of Swords, this is a card of like seeking professionals. And I like to throw this example out there. I'm not going to say it's resonating, but again, I just like to provide the example. If you are having car troubles, this is a good reminder to take your car to a mechanic. Again, seek that professional help where you need it, Cancer. The next card that we have is the Tower. The Tower is one of those cards we don't love to see, but it always has a good outcome. The Tower card is an unwanted change. It feels like ruin. It feels like upheaval. It feels so major. But the nice thing about the Tower card is the change is meaningful. The change takes you to the place you need to be. But do expect something possibly is not going to play out the way that you hoped it would this month, Cancer. So just kind of be prepared for that. I always like to say in this case, it's like you plan for A, B, C to happen and D, E, F happens. But again, the change is meaningful. The change takes you to a good place. So try not to be too worried or caught up in the moment when things don't play out the way we hope they would. The next card that we have is the Three of Wands. The Three of Wands is a card of teamwork and collaboration. Keep that in mind this month to leverage your resources, leverage your network, leverage your team network as needed. Teamwork, again, being a big meaning here. This is also a card of commerce, so some good money movement for you. I do, again, think some of you are budgeting, spending. That moderation could be money related. The Three of Wands is also a card of travel. So some of you could be doing some travel in the month of September or shortly thereafter. So I'm feeling some movement here with the Three of Wands at the bottom. Looking at our clarifiers, the first card that we have is the Devil card. The Devil card is a card of addiction, greed, envy, materialism, obsession. Oftentimes this is a card of like overthinking to Cancer. With the King of Swords, again, this is long-term, strategic, thoughtful. Try not to overthink your decisions. You could think them to death. Like there are times where we have to tell ourselves, okay, I've thought about this enough. And I need to stop thinking about it. I can't give it any more time or energy. So I know you want to be strategic. I know you want to be thoughtful, but don't overthink either. And then if you do feel like you're overdoing something, overanalyzing, overspending, again, with the King of Swords, this is a good time to seek help from a professional, whether that's like mental health help, the mechanic for your car, somebody that helps as a financial advisor. Again, leverage that network, leverage those resources, leverage those professionals when needed. The next clarifier we have is the Two of Pentacles. The Two of Pentacles is a card of having two choices. It could be multitasking, weighing options. Now that D, E, F happened instead of A, B, C, you may need to kind of analyze and address where we go from here. So I do anticipate there's like a decision or a change of course. Again, you're going to end up in a different spot than exactly where you anticipated being, Cancer. So you've got to kind of weigh where you're going to go from there. Just know, again, the Tower card takes us to good places, even though it doesn't always feel like it. But assess your options once you're there and kind of recreate your plan of attack. At the bottom here, we have the Four of Swords. The Four of Swords is a card of needing to rest, retreat, renew, recover. It's a tired card, and this is a card about making sure that you aren't getting burnt out. So again, that's why that teamwork and collaboration is important. That travel too. You may need to travel just to get a break. You need a break from work. You need a break from family, whatever it may be. You just need a change of scenery. So some R&R is due for you going into September as well. Now let's take a look at our next column, which is anything related to money. Think job, career, finances, businesses you run, investments you have, really whatever you associate with money, Cancer. Our first card is the Nine of Pentacles, starting out really strong with a good money card here. This is a card of luxury, self-sufficiency, financial gain. So it does feel like there's some money coming in, some new money here for you. Of course, we're going to clarify that and see if we can provide any additional context. The next card we have is the Page of Swords. The Page of Swords is very curious. It's a gossipy card. It's a card of like seeking truth. When I see this card, I typically tell people, like, if you can avoid the gossip or avoid the drama or avoid the water cooler talk, that's good advice for you this month. Kind of stay above the fray, stay out of the gossip, stay out of the drama. Also, if you feel like you've been doing work and you haven't been getting credit for the work, Cancer, the Page of Swords is like going to bring it to light, and there will be truth of what effort you've truly been putting in. The next card that we have is the Devil card. We have the Repeat Devil card. Definitely try and keep overthinking at bay this month. Try not to overthink. Try not to be materialistic. That's a big one with the Devil card. It's like you see somebody else doing something and then it makes you want to spend money to do the same thing. So try and break that thought process if you can. Just because your friend got a new car doesn't mean that you need a new car, or whatever the scenario may be. New shoes and now you want new shoes. This is also a good card for budgeting. So this is a good time to revisit what you're saving, revisit your budget. Again, a card of budgeting and saving money associated with the Devil. And since we're in the money column, I think that's a worthwhile call out. The first clarifier we have for our money column is the Ace of Pentacles. Anytime we have an Ace card, this is a card of newness. The Ace of Pentacles is a card of new job, raise, promotion, investment, income. Again, some new money coming in. You have a really nice pairing here between the Ace of Pentacles and the Nine of Pentacles, so keep an eye out for that new money come September. The next card that we have is the Three of Cups. This is a card of friendship, circle of support. Again, I feel like you could be gossiping with somebody that's a friend. And I'm not saying they're not a friend, but I would stay away from the gossip, the drama, the socializing, the rumors, any of that you can. And again, for those of you that don't seem to be getting credit for the work you've been doing, it seems like you will here with the Three of Cups, because there will be this moment of celebration where you're acknowledged and validated and appreciated. The next card that we have is the Nine of Wands. The Nine of Wands is a card of keeping and maintaining boundaries. Again, some of you really need to take a look at budget here, Cancer. Whether it's saving or spending or just budget holistically, I would take a look at it. Make sure you have good boundaries in place or guidelines for how much money you're going to spend and how much money you're going to save. The next column we're going to take a look at is anything related to love. So think family, friends, relationship, children, whatever you associate with love, Cancer. And let's see what we're working with here. The first card that we have is the Nine of Cups. The Nine of Cups is one of those wonderful cards. We love to see it anywhere and everywhere. This is a card of wishes coming true, material abundance, good health. Whatever you want from your love life, you can have, Cancer. You have the ability to create it with the Nine of Cups. It's similar to the Magician. You just have to know what you want and it will come true. The next card that we have is the Empress. And Empress is another one of those cards that we love anywhere. This is a card of creation. Again, that ability to create whatever you want in terms of love. This is also a card of abundance, and there is no such thing as an abundance of love. You cannot have too much of it, whether it's self-love, unconditional love from others. So we like to see the abundance of love. This is also a card of good parenting and fertility. So if you're hoping to grow your family, Cancer, the Empress is a good card for you. The next card that we have is the King of Wands. The King of Wands is a card of being bold, being powerful, being charming. I feel like for some of you, you need to make sure that you have that interaction with your partner. I'm not saying you're not charming, Cancer, but make the effort to be charming, and that will be kind of received back. You're kind of leading the way of what you want from your partner. So it's almost like a lead by example type feeling. I know that's a weird message, but that's what I'm having with the King of Wands, or that's the message I'm sharing there. It's kind of like lead by example of the love, the compassion that you want to see. Same thing goes with children, family, friends too. It's not specific to spouse. The first clarifier we have is the Five of Swords. The Five of Swords is not very good relationships, and unfortunately, I don't know that I know anybody that hasn't had a good relationship. But the nice thing about these not very good relationships that we've had in the past is it gives us a very clear vision and expectation of what we would like in the future. And remember what I was saying with the Nine of Cups, it's all about knowing what you want. When you know what you want, then the Nine of Cups will grant that for you. So learn from past experiences, have good boundaries, have your head straight on what you want. This is more so about knowing what you want so you can get what you want in terms of love there, Cancer. The next card that we have is the Three of Wands. The Three of Wands is a card of teamwork. And this is like that partnership that you need in the relationship, that you're seeking in the relationship. This is also a card of expansion. So as I was saying with the Empress, this is a good card for you if you're hoping to grow your family. You have two nice expansion fertility cards there. And at the bottom we have the Five of Pentacles. The Five of Pentacles is one of those cards that has so many meanings. But again, I feel like some of you aren't getting what you want from the relationship. And again, my advice here is to lead by example. If you want love and affection in a certain way, lead by example by showing that love and affection so you can then start receiving it in return. Now we're going to take a look at our fifth and final column, which is a message from our future self or spirit guides. So the card that we have here is friction. Friction means a couple different things, and they're two wildly different meanings, so we'll see which direction this takes us. Friction can be conflict between people. If this conflict arises, though, make sure you have all the information. Make sure you have all the context. And I don't know that you necessarily need to mitigate the conflict, but understand the conflict. The other meaning of friction is, if you think about it, things start moving, and when things move, there's heat, there's friction. So it could be an indicator of movement going into the end of this month. But let's see here what messages we've got. The first card that we have is the Eight of Swords. The Eight of Swords is a card of self-imposed restrictions. We talked about the Eight of Swords here. Now they are in diagonal corners. Make sure that you are aware of what you want. Make sure that you realize that you have the ability to move the situation forward. And in this case, I do feel like you have the ability to navigate this conflict and resolve the conflict or friction that may be happening. The next card that we have is the Moon card. The Moon card is a card of unforeseen problems. It's kind of the curve in the road that we don't expect. It's really important that we trust our intuition as we navigate through this situation. And something is just going to pop up that causes conflict this month. Sometimes that's how it happens. The very bottom card here we have is the Five of Wands. The Five of Wands is a card of rivalry, obstacles, challenges. But if you look at this card, they're fighting with wands, they're not fighting with swords. So I always explain this as small bumps in the road. So again, don't forget that you have the ability to mitigate and navigate this and trust your intuition through it. This isn't going to be a huge blowout fight. It's small bumps in the roads, things that can be resolved. Let's clarify this final column here. The Six of Cups is the first clarifier we have. This is a card of nostalgia, a card of reflection. You may look back at past events and use those past events to guide you forward in this moment or in this scenario. The next card we have is the Nine of Cups. We have that repeat Nine of Cups, which we like to see. This is, again, wishes coming true. This is material abundance, good health. You have the ability to create whatever you want from this situation, and that's why I think you're being told to take the lead here, Cancer, because you can really turn this into a positive, this curve in the road that we didn't expect with the Moon. Again, we can create it into whatever we want it to be. And at the bottom here, we have the Death card. The Death card is a card of endings and time to move on. And I'm not talking about relationships ending, but it's time to resolve this conflict or move on from this conflict. For some of you, this does feel a little bit reoccurring. So it's again breaking that cycle and going through this transformation, following the curve in the road and creating a new path. Now at this time, Cancer, I'm going to give you the opportunity to ask 3 yes or no questions. We're going to use the Gypsy Witch fortune telling deck. If you don't have 3 questions in mind, you can pause the video and think of them really quickly. But for question number 1, we have the 4 of Hearts. This is number 17 card. That's a yes. Question number 2 is the 8 of Spades. This is number 32 card. This is going to be a yes. And question number 3, we have the 7 of Clubs. This is the number 20 card. That's also a yes. So yes, yes, yes across the board there, Cancer. We're also going to pull a card from our Healing Stones deck. So this is a crystal to keep with you through the month of September. Your crystal this month is agate, which is good for retreat, calm, stability, and it really helps protect you from those outside influences. Last but not least, we're going to pull a card from our Healing Notes deck. Your healing note says, get over your hill and see what you find there, with grace in your heart and flowers in your hair. Thank you so much, Cancer, for tuning in, watching, and listening. Please do like, comment, subscribe. Let me know how this video resonates with you. Again, subscriptions help me greatly, so please subscribe if you have not already. Also included my Venmo in the comments box if you'd like to make a donation. But thank you so much, Cancer, and I hope you have a fabulous September.